For this one, I want to bring on three amazing people. They're all co-founders of Polygon. We're going to talk about what's been happening in the Polygon ecosystem, how do they think about the alignment with the Ethereum ecosystem moving forward, and all of the new exciting tech that you can look forward to. So without further ado, please welcome Sandeep, Mihailo, and Jordi on stage.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
This mic is very good.
Hello.
So as we were planning to do this panel, I wanted to think about a different format than let's do one by one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say very little prompts, and I want you to figure it out and answer things that best represent the collective answer from Polygon. But I'll still make it a little bit fair. I want to have Jordi kick us off with kind of giving an overview of kind of what's been happening in this in the world of kind of scaling. So Jordi, my kind of question to you is you've been helping scale Ethereum for years, and you've been very crucial in the advancements of zkVMs and just zk tech and that being production ready. Could you give us an overview of how things got started in this space, what you've been able to do before and after at Polygon, and overall, what's the lay of the land for how Polygon is thinking about scalability?
Yeah, well, when I started in the blockchain 2016, I mean, a long time ago, well, I realized that this technology was amazing and you wanted to do a lot of things and a lot of ideas and so on. But the first time that I tried to use seriously in real life, it was for Catalonia events and so on. I realized that this technology just doesn't work. I mean, it's fine, it's cool, it has a lot of promises, but if you want to use it in mainstream, if you want to use it in real applications, it's not ready. It's not ready by far. So for me at that point, I decided, okay, I want to be here. I want to improve this technology. I want to bring this technology to the people. I want to use this technology for doing good to the people. And well, there is a lot of problems this technology has, but one of those is that this technology doesn't scale. I mean, Bitcoin, you can do maybe 1,000 transactions every 10 minutes. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but you go nowhere. I mean, you can play with friends, but not much more than that. Ethereum is a little bit better, but it's not scale anyway. So I started to see at that point, the scalability was like a holy grail at that point. And I mean, the solutions were there, didn't convince me at all. Here was all these payment channels, these Lightning networks was today. And but there was one project that, okay, this looks like different and somehow. This project was called Plasma a long time ago. I mean, with a lot of things, but you start seeing there that, okay, here there is something that looks interesting, okay? And together with that, remember reading some of the Vitalik blog posts about zero knowledge. They implemented, I mean, they added these pairing functions inside the Ethereum. I mean, this precompiled smart contracts in there. So I start just getting there, I studying there. Well, I learning there. I just wrote Circom. It's just in the weekend I need to write that, so I just wrote Circom at that point. Just wrote the snark.js. Of course, I rewrote like 3 times after that, but
You have a free weekend, then you build a new programming language for zk. Yeah.
And Circom, like, I think it's the most used circuit language, I think, these days.
yeah, today I think it's
He's just
very
casually
Weekend
dropping,
project.
inventing a programming language over a weekend.
Weekend
If
project.
anybody else caught that?
Yeah, but it's. I mean, it was just I wanted to understand how these things work, and then okay, I just did that. Okay, and no, but of course, I mean, then there is a lot of work that happens after that, but the basic things was done quite fast, and you start seeing what projects like Semaphore at that point. I mean, the projects like Tornado Cash. I remember the Tornado Cash was a cool story because, I mean, I was right Circom for playing, and there was a couple of guys that told me, hey, we want to use that to make a mixer. And I tell you, okay, do whatever you want. Don't put my name in there. And not for what happened, no, just because, I mean, Circom was not production ready at all. So it was more for I was very
not losing money. Yes.
yeah, exactly. So actually, they did it. I mean, there was some bugs we discovered. We were like auditing, a lot of help here in the community. Auditing, they fixed it, and Tornado Cash was a reality out of that. But then many other projects happened at that point. So we get deep in with Circom. Then we created Ident 3. Ident 3 was a try to create a protocol for digital identity, mainly using zero knowledge, using Circom. That was like part of that. And with this technology, at point they say, okay, we can build roll-ups. And here is a famous blog post of Vitalik explaining the idea behind roll-ups. And it was written by Vitalik, but I thought it was Barry Whitehat and many other people in the Ethereum Foundation that were thinking about this idea, and we were talking a lot on this. Okay, this is like a plasma, but the real.
You're talking about plasma becoming rollups.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And this is an important. This blog post is an important because since there we start working on that, and we created in Ident 3, which says, okay, let's freeze the project from identity and let's focus on creating a payments rollup, and we were evolving Circom and all the tooling, and we created this Hermes, what's Hermes 1.0. And after that, we created a Hermes, we put it in production, we go ready. And after that, there was Barry Whitehat from the Ethereum Foundation. They came to my home in Switzerland, and he was telling me we have to do a zkEVM. And I tell you, okay, you are crazy, right?
This is for the audience. Tell us why that was a crazy idea, and what were the constraints that made it sound crazy?
It was not feasible. I mean, if you want to Circom, if you do want to do, for example, multiplication in 256 multiplications, you need already thousands of hundreds of thousands of constraints, and the maximum you can get is maybe 120 millions or something like that. So, and this is just one multiplication. But if you want to do that many multiplications, it just doesn't fit. I mean, the Ethereum, the EVM was not prepared to be embedded inside the zk circuit. Okay, and was at this point that Barry just explained me all these new advances that happened with polynomials, polynomial relationships. So, and here it's okay, you can do a lot of things, and we were okay, we have to, let's try as an exercise. I think it's impossible, but let's try it. And then you go to all the different problems, all the different, how we solve the memory, how we solve the calling one smart contract to another smart contract, how we solve ECDSA. And we were running to all the major problems, and we're trying to figure out each of the pieces, and we arrived to a kind of a theoretical solution. I said, this should be possible doing this way. And
this is possible as in we can do it, or this is like, oh, we can maybe eventually make all of it work, but right now we're only seeing some parts.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is a way. At least it's a path, and this should be okay, but very complex thing, and it's very complex, and we end up with like a very complicated things to do, but we are just thinking on that, and we're simplifying the things, and at one point say, okay, this is definitively possible. We don't know how much will it take to generate the proof. We did the first estimations, and we were measuring the proof generation in number of data centers. That's the thing. But was technically, it would be able to. It should be possible to generate this proof, and we start going deep on that. There was a presentation that we gave in Paris 2 years ago, and here, so it's not that long ago. And I explained, okay, we can build the zkVM using all these polynomial commitments with block apps, things that, in Aftec, they did all this amazing work, Plonk, block up, blockish, all the work from Starks. We just took a lot of technologies around created by the community. We put them all together, and we start working on that. At the beginning, we had to convince. First, I had to convince my partners. It's not easy. It's you're doing something that nobody believes that's going to be working, and then. But here is, because the partners, and then very, very, very soon. I think it was just after this conference in Paris. To these guys and says, okay, we want to scale Ethereum. We believe in what you're doing, and let's join forces. And I think it was a very, very, very good partnership till now. Yeah, until
Till
4
yesterday.
years.
What?
But it's like, okay, we know how to do this technology. We know how is this ZK, but we had all the experience even in Hermes 1, so we don't know how to get adoption and how to use. I don't want to build systems that only myself is using. I mean, I want this to scale and to provide. And I mean, Polygon did an amazing job already on that. So at this point, we decided to join forces together at the same time with Polygon. There was other two teams that were crucial for the zkVM. Here is the Polygon Zero. It was Mir at the time. It was converted to Polygon Zero and Polygon Maiden. We were like doing more. We were trying like to solve the same thing, but from different angles and different things. And we start to work together. And work together is like, okay, I mean, we set up some good economic incentives and some good framework for collaboration. So it's like, okay, you just want to solve the problem, and you just start talking with each other in a transparent way, explaining, okay, we are trying to solve this way, we are trying to solve this that way. We took all the technology from Polygon Zero, or the Goldilocks, or the Plonky2, and all this amazing recursion, a lot of innovation that was in there. We took all the Maiden, I mean, all the arithmetization, all the knowledge of Stark, and on there. We were, of course, in Hermes, we were continue working, and we were, during these 2 years, has been like, all these original problems that we start, and many more that came later, were just solving them, fine-tuning them, finding the right solution, going one direction, saying, okay, maybe there is a better way, let's just move it in the other direction. A lot of prototyping, and here we were able also to hire an amazing team. Was people that I mean, when you have a good funding and when you have a good thing, you can find the right people and you can convince to the project. It was a clear project. I mean, for me, it's the important. I mean, it's the most important project for me. It's a honor. It's a honor to be in this project. So I took the best people that I knew in my history. Some of them even from outside the blockchain, and said, we have to build this. And I put the best people that I know as a team to create that, and has been solving challenge after challenge. And from engineering, solving challenge is the best thing.
Satisfying.
It's satisfying, and it was like every week we had like 2-3 challenges. So it has been like working really hard, highly motivated. Not a big team, but I mean good enough team to create all that. And during these 2 years has been day and night working, but enjoying a lot at the same time. And well, we created Polygon, the Polygon zkVM. I mean, this is a fact and this is a reality right now.
From
at this point,
3 data centers to now it's...
sorry for answering too long, but I...
No, I mean, if anything, this deserves a round of applause for just the amount of amazing progress they've made in such a small time. I remember a year ago, people thought zkVMs would be crazy because just everybody looks at it from the constraints like this is not possible, and here we are. It is extremely impressive that we've been able to get here, and the best part to me is now it falls into, okay, we know we can do it, and now people can just assume this exists and they can just build on it and not worry about it, and that's the world where I want to be in, because that's the only way you get to actually see people build things that are interesting and useful to them and the people that they care about. I want to focus on that. So zkVMs, definitely a dark horse moment. But Polygon, or originally Matic, kind of has been around as a proof of stake chain for a handful of years. And recently you kind of talked about and announced your transition to Polygon 2.0. So maybe my first question would be kind of from a slightly technical standpoint on just what's different, what's 2.0, and kind of what should people really know about and take away from this?
Yeah, thanks. Polygon 2.0 is, I would say, a radical overhaul of Polygon technology, and the point of convergence, first and foremost, in my personal opinion, of everything we have done so far. So when we started Polygon, we knew that we want to build this infinitely scalable platform of Web3 to scale Ethereum to achieve mainstream adoption or global adoption. That was clear. And it was clear that it's going to be some sort of multi-chain, multi-layer 2 paradigm. That was kind of obvious. Everything else was kind of blurry, unclear still. We wanted to experiment with all meaningful scaling approaches. and we have done that so far, from Plasma to sidechains to rollups to validiums. We experimented with multiple client development efforts, multiple zk efforts, as Jordi mentioned. We intentionally encouraged this kind of innovation. We were aware that this is very early stage of this industry, and this architecture and infrastructure is very complex, and we intentionally allowed that kind of period of divergence, I would say, for this kind of almost 2 years, where we had these really multiple approaches and encouraged different.
You're talking about your experiments on scaling with different.
Exactly, exactly. Like all these efforts, and the downside, small downside of that is that people often have been confused so far. Why are you doing so much? What's the purpose? Why you have this many?
7 EVM strategies, zkEVM strategies at a time. Is that the right number? Like
I think so. I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyways, we really wanted that period of kind of divergence and exploration. And slowly we started converging. Things became more obvious. Along the way, we realized that, as Jordi said, what was highly uncertain, the practicality and viability of zkEVM, it became obvious that it's very much viable and very much practical with the current level of ETH transfer proving costs of 0.40, $8.85. So $0.4085, it's practically insignificant kind of for practical purposes, so to say. So we slowly started converging towards something, and that something is Polygon 2.0. It's first and foremost this technological or protocol stack that we're proposing that has 4 different layers. One is the staking layer where the validators of the ecosystem lived. On top of it, it's interoperability layer, I would say one of a kind, and hopefully game-changing interoperability layer. I'm not sure how much we can go into that, how much time we have. On top of it is the execution layer, which is pretty commoditized layer, like with any blockchain. It just produces blocks, collates transactions, just these standard blockchain things. And on top of that is this also one of a kind of prover layer or zk layer that we're very proud of, with highly performant, I mean, the best in the industry prover, which is Plonky2, with Plonky3 being around the corner with significant improvements over Plonky2, which is still the industry-leading prover. On top of it, we have DSL language that Jordi has built, another of languages that Jordi built over some free weekends, and we used it practically to define zkEVM. It's polynomial identity language. We're now Jordi is working on Pill 2, and there is also part of a group that previously was Ethereum Foundation that works on something similar, which is called Powder, and we're exploring potentially collaboration, potentially very excited about that. And basically we really believe that prover layer can become kind of the standard for zk virtual machine definition. When you have basically the most performant prover in the industry, on top of that virtual machine defining framework, and on top of that you can build any virtual machine. zkEVM that we already have, Maiden VM that we're working on is already going to be built on top of this DSL, zkWasm, anything basically you can. So all in all, this is like, it's like that one consolidated stack that is the result of this exploration process that have been lasted for like 2 years practically, and that is moving forward the North Star of Polygon in terms of technology. And after all this exploration, we are now very confident that this is the way to go, and this architecture can support mainstream adoption without sacrificing security and still fully relying on Ethereum and all. So all in all, it's mainly architectural kind of consolidation and the public commitment to this technological stack, so to say. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I want to add about your specific question about Polygon PoS chain, right? Like, so, I mean, from the very start, we have always been very clear that this is not a side chain. Like, currently, that's the technology that is possible. But then we are going to make it a layer 2. We are extremely Ethereum aligned. And this sometimes it makes me emotional. Sometimes it makes me angry also, because, you know, sometimes random people on Twitter who have done nothing for Ethereum, they would question my loyalty, right? Like, you know, I think I've been on the forefronts whenever there is a competitive pressure on Ethereum and things like that. But that has been a promise forever, like, you know, from our side, that we are going to convert it into a layer 2 only. And now that the technology is available, all the other chains are also like the app chains that we launched. We already, you know, have spun out the Polygon zkEVM Supernet stack, as you saw, like Gnosis Pay and IDEX and so many protocols are launching on those zkEVM based app chains. And the goal is to make this infinitely growing trustless compute layer, which can which will have decentralization on many of the chains to offer censorship resistance and all that. But then all of this, the settlement and the security provided by Ethereum, that was the ultimate goal, and we will keep progressing towards that. There is no question on that.
Absolutely, and if anything, like, I don't think you should have to say that. The work you've done and just kind of moving the space forward from just even the tech and the cryptographic kind of contributions speaks for that. So that's amazing. So would it be fair to say that kind of from your perspective, Sandeep, kind of the attempts we're seeing on the OP stack or the zk stack and just other kind of ways people are thinking about the app-specific world, that's complementary, not competitive, or kind of how do you feel that long-term overlaps with Polygon's vision?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we all are vying for the same thing, that the security provided by Ethereum main chain, the value probably generates, or basically we are all creating this value layer of internet, right? And that value needs to have a very, very strong and decentralized basis, which is Ethereum, right? And then that when you are generating millions or billions of dollars of value, you are storing that value on this, on this Web3 internet or this internet of value. It is guarded. The guidelines are extremely, extremely strong in the form of Ethereum. So all of us are doing the same thing in that longer vision, and it's about these different approaches. We are working on our approaches. Obviously, as researchers, engineers, builders, we believe that our approach is better. Some of the similar people might believe the same, but I think it's more about traction and network effects. What technology is available today? I think from Polygon side, we strongly believe that our stack is ready today. Right? There's no most of the research problems from our side have been solved. It's more about the engineering stack is available today. You can launch your zk chains today. There is no future promises or anything like that. So in that sense, yes, we feel that this is a more viable stack currently. But then eventually, many of these other other stacks, this will become more and more commoditized. And at the end of the day, what we are focused on this interoperability layer, which allows all the chains to settle into Ethereum, but also be seamlessly interoperable, the way the internet is interoperable today. So yeah, in that sense, it's not competitive. The mission is the same for everyone, and we cheer for everyone from the sidelines, whoever is working on this mission.
No, that's amazing. You said something super interesting. So I understand the value layer argument of the internet. That means we're seeing, where different worlds kind of exist that are kind of community-specific, app-specific, overall just kind of adjacent sometimes, or sometimes on top. How does interacting with these things work with each other? I think the blog post talked about the concept of Supernets. Like, what is that? How do you kind of transfer value between these worlds, and what's like a good intuition about how this would work in 2.0?
Let me first try a simplistic definition of that, and then maybe Mihailo or Jordi can take a more technical version of it. But basically, it's very simple. Like, we are imagining a multi-chain world where everybody, if you are a college student in dorm room, you can spin up your own chain and have probably potentially millions of dollars of value on that. But then at the end, you are proving everything using zk proofs to Ethereum. And for the faster, collaboration between each other, you are, proving to this interop layer, which is consolidating all the zk proofs and putting it back on Ethereum. So all of the chains don't have to put back on Ethereum, because otherwise it becomes super costly, right?
And just to check, this is not the same as recursion?
This is recursion.
Okay.
All of the chains submit there, and this recursively gets combined. If you go deeper, even all of the proofs are also recursively being generated. So, right, it's kind of the fractal movement of that zk proofs being generated. And the moment all these chains have their zk proofs on the interoperability layer, let's say I am on chain number 100 and you are on zkEVM, or I am playing a game with Immutable X, for example, who's moving over completely their stack to this technology. I'm playing some game and I made $1,000 in that game tokens, and I want to convert them into USDT on zkEVM. I can do one single transaction the moment this chain submits the proof back on this aggregated layer, zkEVM already knows that this chain has submitted zkEVM. So it doesn't matter, it has one sequencer, multiple sequencer, a big reputed sequencer, doesn't matter because zk proof is there. So you can trust on the incoming cross-chain transaction. And as the zk proving technology is improving, you would be able to have this interoperability probably in 20 seconds, 30 seconds time in the next 12 to 18 months. And then it's like Ethereum level composability across chain smart contracts. That's the end game. And we are like awesome. 80% is built out of that already. Like you can do it. This cross chain availability, although, is available today. Jordi already, one more weekend, he built this, we built this LXLY bridge. So where now the zk chains can already communicate between each other without going to Ethereum. So you can transfer $100 from chain number 1 to chain number 2 without exiting to Ethereum. This is already built out. Now this interop layer is going to speed it up, right? To the tune of seconds. So that's the vision.
Jordi, there's a hackathon happening tomorrow till Monday in case you want to solve scalability this weekend.
I like to do one hackathon a year at least. I think that any developer should do it, even for, I mean, it's a kind of a training. And hackathons are very good just to do something that is different, something that you will not do it, and just do some proof of concept. So here I invite, I think it's any developer to do a hackathon a year. I think this is, for me, it's a must.
Jordi has made it mandatory in his team that you have to travel one conference a year so that you get the ethos of Web3 and all that and participate in hackathons. So your whole team still participates.
Yeah, I'm always fighting with the management. You are bringing a lot of people to the conferences.
We have 56 people here. We're like, Jordi, 56 people.
But for me, I mean, I don't want to have developers that are lab rats. I mean, I want that any developer that's in my team knows and understands what's building. And for me, that all the developers at least once a year goes to some community or dev conference is a must. I mean, I force them. I mean, if Polygon will not pay it, I will pay it. I mean, I don't care. They must go there. It's a must for me. I don't understand engineers that are disconnected of the world.
I'm a bit biased, but I support this decision.
Yeah. When Jordi says I am going to pay, then essentially we all three are paying, and we are paying already a lot of things from personally.
No, that's great. I mean, that's the only way you can empathize with kind of what actually matters to people, and decide to kind of focus on things that you may not realize were actually more important, even if they were not super hard.
Maybe just to expand just for 1 minute on the cross-chain thing. As Sandeep explained very well the high level kind of the and I won't go too deep, but this interoperability protocol that we're proposing is, I have been always passionate about cross-chain communication, multi-chain systems. This is multi-layer 2 ecosystem, and it was kind of obvious for some time that this is the way to go. But how to interconnect these chains in a scalable and globally secure way, that has always been the question. To the best of my knowledge, this is the first. I mean, it's always a serious claim when you say this is the first, this is this or whatever. But just quick retrospect. So the cross-chain communication, we have IBC type, Cosmos type of cross-chain communication that has its known downsides in terms of that the ecosystem is as secure as the weakest kind of security chain in the ecosystem for obvious reasons. Then you have chains like inter-chain communication systems like Polkadot, which are globally consistent, which is a great property, but they can't scale because you have a single chain that's transferring these messages. You have multi-layer 2 ecosystems where you have this concept of shared sequencers, which are great, but they can also not scale because you can scale that to 3-5 chains. But if you have 100 chains, shared sequencer has to run nodes for each of the chains, and that cannot scale. And with by leveraging zk and this basic concept of LXLY bridge, we are able to finally offer something that is scalable and globally ensured, globally secured. Even with
that's a great and that's a big claim.
And we're very excited to share more about it. And deep dives are coming in the following weeks, or each of those layers of the stack.
So I guess, but while we're at it, can you also explain the new POL token and sort of where does that come into play? Why did you have to introduce it? What does that mean for somebody?
Yeah, of course. So native token is an integral part of every blockchain protocol, and I personally love tokens. I'm kind of it's fascinating. It's like one of the most fascinating things about this whole Web3 industry and the native token of Bitcoin, BTC. What it does in terms of coordinating a network, globally distributed network of people who don't know each other. There's no legal bonds or
there's no
or
shared
anything.
jurisdiction.
There's nothing. There's no management. But all these thousands of people are doing meaningful work in an aligned manner just because of the existence of this token. And the network got bootstrapped without external funding. And then the same thing with Ethereum. Like tokens are a huge game changer. Yeah, we have known since we started Polygon that the initial token of Matic network, which was used as a POS token for the Polygon PoS chain, which was the only chain, it will eventually have to be upgraded to support this new vision that we have. But we knew that, what I said in the beginning, we have to consolidate on the tech stack. We have to consolidate on the architecture, and only then it makes sense to actually design and propose the
And that's the
token as
convergence you were referring to.
Exactly.
It's just all the experiments now get sorted.
Exactly. So now when we know what we want to build, we have alignment, we converge towards a specific architecture or protocol stack. We are also proposing to the Polygon community this upgraded native token. We're very excited about it because of this multifold utility. And I don't know if you want to go into that, or we can, or.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Mihailo, like I think that the third generation mechanism that you were talking, like I think.
Yeah, sure. We can cover briefly. So we believe that this Pol proposal is what we call the third generation native protocol token, which we call hyper-productive asset. This meme seems to be picking up already. But the point is, with you have assets like Bitcoin, which we consider kind of, although extremely important, as I said, we consider it kind of a legacy design of native tokens, and we call it unproductive asset because it does not allow its holders any role in the protocol. As a BTC holder, you can just hodl, basically, or hold, and you cannot participate in the protocol. You cannot help secure the network. You cannot generate any kind of or secure any incentives by doing that. Ethereum comes along with a complete game changer, which is POS and productive asset, where you can actually use the token to become a validator, to perform meaningful work in the protocol. And we believe now that Polygon is kind of innovating further in that sense, given that it's a multi-layer 2 ecosystem. If you stake Pol tokens, you become a validator, but with two major differences. You can validate multiple chains. You can validate arbitrary number of chains, thus generating multiple incentive streams. And you can perform multiple roles on every chain. So you can be a validator in that kind of narrow sense, where you collate transactions, produce blocks, thus extending the chain. You can be a prover for any specific chain. You can participate in data availability committee, if that is Validium, and so on. So we believe this can really be a next kind of iteration when it comes to native protocol token.
That's super interesting. Huh. And I assume a lot of that is also explained in the blog post, so others can read the rest and get the
there is intro blog post as well as the white paper where we
cool.
kind of expanded.
Very simple, like in protocol, you have staking hub, you stake just once, economic value staked once, and after that you can do whatever with that. Like you subscribe to chains, subscribe to data availability nodes, whatever you want to do, provers. That's the main concept.
Great. I want to switch gears a little bit. Polygon is known for having a really killer BD team. What's the secret, and like kind of why do you think you're so effective, and is there some advice you can give to teams here to be more successful, even though it may not be in your best interest? We'll try it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get these questions asked very much, but I think, like, okay, so I want to say one abstract thing and then two, maybe some applicable things also. Abstract thing is that like our team, because the mission for our team was always, as I said, that Jordi, when we met Jordi was like, this zkEVM is the project of my life. Like, either I build this or I die building this, right? That was kind of his.
Did he say that or did you say that? I don't know.
This is how you convince people. I mean,
No, we told him that.
my vision is, I want to take Web3 mainstream, right? Like sometimes, like I don't know how far we are, whether how far we are away from 100 million users in Web3. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, or huh? Or
I would say 2 years. That's a joke from the audience.
yeah, maybe 2 years. I don't know. Like, but I'm saying that's my mission. And I either I do that or I die trying. That's the same way. So I think because once that mission is there, like so the DNA of the team starts getting created in that way. And then like some I don't know who philosopher was that. He said that if you are good at something, it's very hard to explain why you are good at that thing, right? Because if you can explain it, it is replicable. So I think now it is a part of the DNA itself. Everybody is a BD. Like that in that large team, they'll see, oh, this guy is doing this. They will connect to somebody in the biz team, and they will work out and all that. And then this mainstream obviously is something where we feel that not today, like in the bear markets, but then when the markets really start seeing what all is happening, like what these Starbucks or Reddits and all these people are doing, and this is going to like sometimes I'm in Uber and I asked the Uber driver about the Starbucks, and he said, yeah, I have this app, and on this app now I can buy NFTs, and he got introduced into crypto first getting into those NFTs and all that. So these kind of stories are slowly happening, and they will keep happening. But the on the implementation side, like how you can implement it in a non-abstract way is first you do like this part, like try to cultivate that DNA that you want really. You're working for the adoption of this technology, because in Web3 many of the times we get stuck in these small time speculative games, and like just make it this, and then tokens, and there is like the token value accrual and all those things. So if you build your DNA, and if you are here for the long term, like you want to stay here for 5-10 years, then build that DNA for the long term. As Mihailo and me say, like think globally, act locally. So you have to stay relevant also in the local environment, but also have a larger vision on the this thing and cultivate the DNA. The second part is that again people keep telling me like, how are you able to do these this big deals and this and that, so many partnerships, and like many of the times sales and BD people, they would go and they will try to play that deal, like like somehow convince the other guy, like. And that way you can only do like few deals. After that, everybody realizes that you are full of shit. This is like you are just doing it for your own benefits and all that. And so sales doesn't work. For me, like my mantra for all these partnerships is when I start the meeting, I open my cards. I say this is what I want from this. This is why I am doing it. I don't explain them what's in it for you. I first explain it what's in it for me. This is my card. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I can contribute to you. You will get it. And after that, if that's a win-win, it will work out. And culturally, we have this 51-49 rule, where we say that if we are getting into a partnership, the partner will always get more value from this partnership than we getting that value out of it. Like that is also a part of DNA. And then automatically, then when these things are win-win, it's much easier to do those deals. Like when you go with the mindset of like, okay, how can my partner win with this deal? Then you will, end up doing better.
That's actually very practical, amazing advice. This is great. And also, actually, this is how I would personally describe the definition of a successful platform. The people who are on top of the platform benefit way more than the platform itself. And that's your equation for success. I'm seeing a lot of consensus amongst all three of you here. What do you...
It's on the surface.
What do you disagree with each other on?
Okay, so one thing, like with I disagree with Mihailo very this thing, and we keep discussing, is that so Polygon was this underdog for last 3-4 years and all that. In the last 2 years, it became the mainstream protocol and all that. And we see, like again, it's basically some of the wrong narratives being spread, wrong things being spread and all that. And I am like, okay, should we respond to these things publicly? And Mihailo is of the opinion that no, we are like a now big protocol. We should not like, even respond to this, just keep doing our good work and all that. But I again like the think globally and act locally, like I was thinking, because this industry is still a lot about narratives. Like, people just see those tweets. They don't go deep what is happening inside, right? So should we be responding about that, or should we be like, just playing our game and then, doing? He used to give me the example of Apple, and I gave him a lot of examples of Steve Jobs, where he used to like, actively in this iPhone presentation, he shows like BlackBerry, this, like, so that is one of the big debates that we are these days having. So even this morning, so I remember that.
There's so many things that we disagree on, really. Like, I don't know, I can probably name 10 examples or 15, but it's like, I would say, a very normal thing. And especially now when we have Jordi as a equal founder, and then people from Zero and Anthony, and like these meetings are very productive. There's a lot of disagreements on these meetings, but I see that as kind of collective intelligence, so to say, what happens, because eventually we always align. But there's so many disagreements. Like, I disagree on the approach to sorry, Jordi, to approach to maybe adoption. Sometimes Sandeep sees the potential in gaming. For example, enterprises, Brendan, one of the founders, he really doesn't like the enterprise. I am kind of ambivalent. I mean, probably in favor because I see the potential for wider adoption. Like, we disagree on so many things.
But we have a lot of respect. The thing is that we understand that each of us has its own role, its own knowledge, and we respect the space. I mean, you know, we talk about BD. We watch Sandeep. Talk about technical things, they watch me or they watch Brendan. And I mean, it's depending, we talk about strategy. I mean, it's everyone has like his own space. We respect one each other. We listen one each other. We know that we are very different. I mean, we come with very different cultures from many countries, many even ways to think. But we have in common that we have a lot of respect, that we hear a lot one each other. We are trying to all the conversations become very rational. I mean, just trying to analyze everything from the different points. Of course, there are disagreements. There are different ways to see the things. But at the end of the day, we have we understand the other. So we have
shared values go a long way.
Exactly. And this has been working really well. I mean, for the last, at least since we are in Polygon here. So
and I and Mihailo keep joking that apart from Jordi being this, like, you know, one of the best programmers in the space and all that, he's also kind of a psychologist or psychiatrist. Like, see how deeply he nailed it down. That is because of the respect we are able to handle this disagreement.
And he thinks I didn't notice they didn't answer the question. So
yeah. So I mean, he's something else. He's the spirit of Polygon. Like, he's the spiritual guru of Polygon. For me also, like, you know, I see him. He's about public goods, freedom for people, and all that because of his background of, you know, Spain and Catalonia and all those things. So. What was the thing I was saying is that yes disagree.
Where are we?
Yeah. So I was saying, like, even with Mark, like, now I have Mark is like now the CEO of Polygon Labs and all that, and we actually celebrate being proven wrong. Like, you know, this is also a culture which we are cultivating, that we're like, there's a separate group in this main leadership group, and where we say, okay, I was wrong, and we celebrate. Like, the guy who is wrong, he celebrates, like, I'm happy to be proven wrong. And 2-3 times this has happened, and then when I say, yeah, I mean, I was wrong here, this is a great culture. Yeah, that way. Again, practical way to manage disagreements in your companies.
Well, I won't push you further, Jordi, but this is a good time to end. I want to thank all three of you for taking the time and sharing us some insights on Polygon 2.0. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.